Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went in there? Or maybe you are in the middle of a conversation and a simple word just vanishes from your mind, leaving you grasping for it. It is a terrifying feeling, isn't it? You might wonder, is this it? Is this the beginning of the end? Is my memory slipping away because of my age? You are not alone in that fear. Millions of people over 60 wake up every day feeling a heavy cloud over their thoughts, struggling to focus and feeling mentally sluggish. But what if I told you that for many of you, this brain fog is not a sign of permanent decline? What if it is not dementia or Alzheimer's or even just normal aging? What if the root cause is actually a simple mistake you are making within the first 30 minutes of waking up? It sounds almost too simple to be true, but the science is undeniable. There is a specific hydration error that nearly everyone makes, and it is practically starving your brain of the oxygen it needs to function. Today, we are going to uncover exactly what that mistake is. We are going to look at how your morning routine might be accidentally sabotaging your brain power and making you feel 10 years older than you actually are. We will talk about the one thing you need to change tomorrow morning to lift that fog and get your sharp, clear thinking back. You might be surprised to learn that it is not just about drinking water. It is about how you drink it, when you drink it, and what you might be putting in your body that pushes the hydration out before it can even reach your brain cells. By the end of this video, you will have a clear, simple strategy to wake up your brain and protect your memory. Before we dive into the solution, if you care about staying healthy and keeping your independence well into your golden years, please consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications. We share the kind of senior health tips that doctors often simply don't have the time to explain in a 15-minute visit. And I have a quick question for you. I am always curious how far our community reaches, so where are you watching from today? Are you in the United States, the UK, Canada, Australia, or somewhere else entirely? Please drop a comment below and let me know where you call home. Now let us get to the heart of the matter. To understand why your brain feels foggy, we have to look at what happens to your body while you sleep. Imagine a sponge that has been sitting on the kitchen counter all night. By morning, it is dry, stiff, and brittle. If you try to bend it, it resists. This is essentially what happens to your brain and your body during the night. You lose a significant amount of water just by breathing, sweating, and the natural repair processes your body undertakes while you dream. By the time you wake up, you are already in a state of mild dehydration. Your blood has become thicker, making it harder for your heart to pump it through those tiny microscopic vessels that feed your brain cells. Here is the first big mistake most people make. They wake up and they wait. They get out of bed, maybe brush their teeth, get dressed, let the dog out, or start checking the news. They might go 20, 30, or even 40 minutes before they take their first sip of anything. During that time, your brain is crying out for hydration. Your brain is about 75% water. When that water level drops, even by 1 or 2%, your cognitive function, your ability to focus, recall memories, and process information drops significantly. It is like trying to drive a car with thick sludge instead of clean oil. The engine grinds, the gears stick, and everything feels heavy. That is brain fog. It is not that your brain cells are dead, it is that they are thirsty and shriveled. You need to hydrate immediately. Not in 20 minutes, not after you check the mail, but the moment your feet hit the floor. However, this leads us directly into the second, and perhaps the most common mistake, which is reaching for the wrong beverage first. I know so many of us love our morning coffee. The smell alone is enough to wake you up. But here is the hard truth. Coffee is a diuretic. That means it encourages your body to lose fluids. If you wake up already dehydrated and the first thing you pour into your system is a strong cup of coffee, you are essentially accelerating that dehydration. You are whipping a tired horse. You might get a momentary jolt of alertness from the caffeine, but physiologically you are stripping moisture from your tissues and your brain. This often leads to a crash later in the morning where the fog rolls back in thicker than before. I am not saying you have to give up your coffee forever. I would never ask you to do that. but we need to change the order of operations. Think of your stomach like a garden. If the soil is bone dry and cracked and you dump a bucket of fertilizer on it, the soil cannot absorb it. It just runs off or burns the roots. You need to water the soil first to prepare it. The same is true for your stomach and your brain. You must hydrate with water before you caffeinate. Now let us talk about the water itself, because believe it or not, there is a right way and a wrong way to drink water, especially when you are over 60. The third mistake is drinking ice cold water. I know it feels refreshing, especially in the summer, but from a physiological standpoint, ice water can be a shock to your system. In Eastern medicine and even in modern metabolic science, we know that the body has to expend energy to heat that water up to body temperature before it can be used. When you are older, your energy reserves are precious. You want that energy going to your brain and your muscles, not to your stomach, to act as a water heater. Cold water can also dampen your digestion and constrict the blood vessels in your stomach lining, which is the opposite of what we want. We want to open things up. We want flow. So the strategy here is to drink room temperature or even slightly warm water. It is gentler, it absorbs faster, and it helps dilate those blood vessels to get oxygen moving to your head. This brings us to another hidden culprit that might be lurking in your kitchen: fruit juice. You might think having a glass of orange juice is the healthy choice. It has vitamin C, right? While that is true, commercial fruit juice is essentially a sugar bomb. When you drink juice on an empty stomach, you are flooding your system with fructose without the fiber to slow it down. This causes a massive spike in your blood sugar. For a senior whose insulin sensitivity might not be what it used to be, this is the disaster for brain function. Your blood sugar rockets up, giving you a burst of energy, but then insulin rushes in to clear it out and your blood sugar crashes. That crash is where the brain fog lives. It is that moment when you feel shaky, weak, and unable to concentrate. It is not aging, it is a blood sugar roller coaster. Instead of juice, we want to focus on water that has been activated. This is a concept that is incredibly important for cellular hydration. Plain tap water is fine, but sometimes it can pass right through you without being fully absorbed into the cells where it is needed most. To make your water more hydrating, you can add a pinch of high-quality sea salt or a squeeze of lemon. This adds electrolytes. Think of electrolytes as the electrical spark plugs for your body. Your brain runs on electricity. Signals jump from neuron to neuron to create thoughts and memories. Those signals need conductive minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium to travel. If you are drinking distilled or ultra-purified water without minerals, you might actually be flushing out your own mineral reserves, making the brain fog worse. A tiny pinch of salt or lemon helps the water cling to your cells, rehydrating you much more effectively. Let's go a little deeper into the science of why this hydration matters so much. For your brain specifically, Dr. William Li often talks about the concept of angiogenesis, which is the growth and maintenance of blood vessels. Your brain is packed with the densest network of blood vessels in your entire body. If you laid them all out end to end, they would stretch for miles. These vessels are the supply lines that bring oxygen and nutrients to your neurons. When you are dehydrated, your blood volume decreases. It becomes viscous or thick. Imagine trying to suck a thick milkshake through a tiny straw. That is what your heart has to do to push dehydrated blood into the tiny capillaries of your brain. When the blood flow slows down, the delivery of oxygen slows down. The first function your brain sacrifices when oxygen is low is short-term memory and sharp focus. It goes into survival mode, focusing only on the basics like breathing and balance. That is why you forget where you put your keys. It is not that the memory is gone, it is that the brain did not have the energy to record it in the first place. So, how do we fix this? We are going to build a new morning routine together. One that is simple, enjoyable, and powerful. Step 1 is to set a glass of water on your nightstand before you go to sleep. Cover it so it stays clean. When you wake up, before you even get out of bed, sit up and drink that water. It should be room temperature by then. This immediately signals your body that the drought is over. It kickstarts your metabolism and starts thinning out that blood so it can flow freely to your brain. Step 2 is to move to the kitchen and prepare what I like to call a brain awakening elixir. It sounds fancy, but it is very simple. Take a tall glass of warm water, squeeze half a lemon into it. The lemon provides natural enzymes to wake up your liver and digestion, and it provides a burst of electrolytes. Then, if you can handle it, add a tiny pinch of mineral salt. Stir it up and drink it slowly. Do not chug it. Sip it. Let your body absorb it. Now, here is where we can add some powerful bioactives to really supercharge your brain health. If you are looking for something warm instead of coffee, consider green tea. Green tea is a miracle drink for the aging brain. It contains a compound called EGCG. Studies have shown that this compound can actually help cross the blood-brain barrier and protect your brain cells from inflammation. It also helps relax blood vessels, improving that all-important blood flow we talked about. Plus, green tea has a little bit of caffeine, but it also has L-theanine, an amino acid that promotes calmness and focus. So instead of the jittery, anxious energy of coffee, you get a smooth, calm alertness. It is the perfect state for reading, doing a crossword puzzle, or just enjoying your morning. If you absolutely must have your coffee, that is okay too, but try to wait at least 45 to 60 minutes after you wake up. And after you have had your water, this allows your cortisol levels, the stress hormone that naturally wakes you up, to level out. If you drink coffee right at the peak of your cortisol spike, you are just adding stress to stress. By waiting, you actually get more energy from the coffee and you avoid the crash. I want to pause here for a moment because I know making changes is hard. You have had your routine for decades. Maybe you have had coffee and toast every morning for 40 years. It feels comforting. And when we talk about changing habits, it can feel like we are losing a little piece of ourselves. But I want you to reframe this. You are not giving up your comfort. You are trading a momentary habit for years of clarity. Imagine what it would feel like to wake up and within 20 minutes feel your mind sharpen. Imagine sitting down to read the paper and remembering every detail. Imagine walking into the kitchen and knowing exactly what you came for. That feeling of control and confidence is worth waiting an hour for coffee, isn't it? If you are finding these tips useful so far, please take a second to hit that like button. It really helps us spread this message to other seniors who might be struggling with the same brain fog and fear that you are. And if you haven't yet, do subscribe because we have so much more to cover on this list of health strategies. Let us move on to another aspect of morning hydration that is often overlooked: consistency. It is not just about that first glass. Many seniors stop drinking water as the day goes on because they are worried about incontinence or having to run to the bathroom constantly. This is a very real and valid concern. Nobody wants to be stuck looking for a restroom when they are out and about. But here's the irony. When you limit your water intake, your urine becomes concentrated. Concentrated urine is highly irritating to the bladder. It actually causes the bladder to spasm, making you feel like you need to go even when you don't. So by dehydrating yourself to avoid bathroom trips, you might actually be causing more urgency and frequency. It is a vicious cycle. The key is to sip slowly throughout the day rather than chugging large amounts at once. When you gulp water, it passes through too quickly. When you sip, your body has time to absorb it into the tissues. This keeps your brain hydrated without overwhelming your bladder. And believe it or not, as you rehydrate your body properly, your bladder health can actually improve because the urine is less irritating. There is one more morning mistake we need to address, and it involves what you eat alongside your hydration. We talked about juice, but what about breakfast? A lot of traditional breakfast foods are what we call pro-inflammatory. Processed meats, sugary pastries, even some cereals. Inflammation is the enemy of the aging brain. When your body is inflamed, your brain is inflamed. This is often called neuro-inflammation. It is like a low-grade fire burning in your brain, causing that fog and slowness. Dr. William Li is a huge proponent of using food as medicine to fight this inflammation. So to go with your hydration, try to include foods that support brain blood flow. Berries are fantastic, especially blueberries. They are packed with antioxidants that specifically target the brain. Walnuts are another great choice. They look like little brains and they are full of omega-3 fatty acids that build healthy brain cell membranes. Even dark chocolate. Yes, you heard me right. High quality dark chocolate contains flavonols that have been clinically shown to increase blood flow to the brain and improve cognitive performance. Imagine starting your day with a glass of warm lemon water, a bowl of oatmeal with blueberries and walnuts, and maybe a small piece of dark chocolate. That is a breakfast that fights brain fog. Let's recount a story of a woman named Margaret. Margaret was 68 years old and she was terrified. She had been a school teacher her whole life, sharp as a tack, but lately she felt like she was wading through molasses. She would lose her train of thought mid-sentence. She stopped driving because she felt unsafe. She went to her doctor convinced she had early onset dementia. The doctor ran tests and found nothing structurally wrong. He asked about her routine. It turned out Margaret hated water. She drank 3 cups of coffee in the morning and then iced tea in the afternoon. She was chronically severely dehydrated. The doctor put her on a hydration prescription, 2 glasses of warm water before coffee, herbal tea in the afternoon. Within 2 weeks, Margaret called the office in tears. Not tears of sadness, but relief. She said, "It's like someone wiped the steam off the mirror." Her focus was back. Her energy was back. She wasn't losing her mind, she was just thirsty. This could be you. You might be accepting a lower quality of life simply because you don't realize how much power you have over your own biology. The symptoms of dehydration in seniors, confusion, fatigue, dizziness, weakness, mirror the symptoms of aging so perfectly that we often just accept them as our fate. But we must not accept them. We have to fight for our clarity. I also want to touch on the connection between hydration and medication. Many of you are likely on some form of medication, whether it is for blood pressure, cholesterol, or something else. These medications have to be processed by your liver and kidneys. That processing requires water. If you take your pills with just a tiny sip of liquid, or worse with coffee, you are putting a strain on your kidneys. The medication might not dissolve or absorb properly, or it might become too concentrated in your bloodstream, leading to side effects. One of the most common side effects of medication toxicity is, you guessed it, confusion and brain fog. By drinking a full glass of water with your morning medications, you are helping your body metabolize them safely and effectively, reducing the risk of that mental cloudiness. It feels a bit unsettling to learn all this, doesn't it? To realize that something as simple as a glass of water has been the missing piece of the puzzle all along. But remember, knowledge is power. Now that you know you can make simple changes to protect your health, you do not need to overhaul everything overnight. Start with that 1 glass on the nightstand, then maybe add the lemon, then maybe swap the juice for a piece of whole fruit. Small steps. You might start to notice less stiffness in the mornings and more energy on your walks once you make these tweaks. Imagine walking up the porch steps easily again, or finishing a book chapter and remembering every detail. That is the difference these small tweaks can make over time. So, to recap what we have learned today, the brain fog you are feeling is likely not permanent aging, but a symptom of the morning drought. Your brain shrinks and slows down when it is dry. The mistake is waiting too long to drink, reaching for coffee or sugary juice first, or drinking ice-cold water that shocks your digestion. The solution is simple. Hydrate immediately upon waking, use warm water, add a little lemon or salt to help it absorb, delay your caffeine for an hour, and sip consistently throughout the day to keep those neuroelectrical signals firing strong. It is all about giving your body what it needs and avoiding the sneaky things that cause harm. I know getting older is hard. The aches, the fear of losing mobility or memory, it can be scary and discouraging. But you are not alone in this, and it is not too late to turn things around. Every small step you take, every better beverage you choose, every good habit you build is strengthening your brain and your future freedom. One sip, one step at a time, you are taking charge of your health. Your body is incredibly resilient. It wants to heal, It wants to be sharp. It just needs you to give it the tools. Now I would love to hear from you. Which of these tips surprised you the most? Did you know that coffee could be dehydrating your brain in the morning? Do you have a specific morning routine that makes you feel great? Share your story or any questions in the comments below. I read every single one and we all learn from each other. Your experience might be the exact encouragement someone else needs to read today. And if this video helped you or opened your eyes even a little, please hit the like button. It means a lot. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on important health insights that could improve your life. We have plenty more science-backed tips for thriving in your golden years, and I don't want you to miss a single one because your health and independence are worth fighting for. Stay strong, stay healthy, and remember, your independence starts with a clear mind. Keep taking those small steps for your hydration. They add up to giant strides in your freedom. See you in the next video.